Hey guys, welcome back to RBR, and boy have I got something super special to show you today. Welcome to an extremely vivid preview of what every future Bentley flagship is going to look like. Get excited, I'm gonna pull the covers off right now. You guys ready for this? This is very, very special. Take a look at this. This is Bentley's new Batur coupe. It is a limited edition car, however, like I said, signifies the future of what Bentley are going to do on all of their cars. So as you can see, very much kind of Bentley Continental in its shape, a typical Bentley GT cruiser. That looks absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. What a stance this thing has. This is going to be a special car. So guys, here it is, £1.65 million, only 18 units, all spoken for. Now you might hear that and kind of write the car off, but let me stop you there because this car means a lot more to us regular buyers as well. Much like the previous Continental that this car builds upon, this Batur coupe previews what every single important Bentley in the future that us normal people will buy is going to look like, including their next generation top-end battery electric vehicles, which will all build upon what this Batur is showing us today. So it cannot be a more important example for a Bentley customer or fan, because this is telling you exactly what the future cars are going to be like. Today I'm going to show you everything that is unique about this new design language that they've created. I'll also strip away the skin and tell you what powers the Batur. It's one of the last times you'll ever see that lovely W12 in a car as well. So pretty historic car. So let's dive in, let's check out this, the future of Bentley, previewed here in the Batur coupe. So guys, today's episode of RBR is sponsored by my favorite wallet company, The Ridge. Why are they my favorites? Because like you guys, I love carbon fiber, and they make simply the best carbon fiber wallets that I've ever seen. Look at that, matches exactly your car. You can get the forged one as well. Now with slim wallets, I'm usually used to this type of one. Yes, I'm a bit of a tart with the brand, but these can only hold 5, 6 cards maybe, whereas in the Ridge, you can get up to 12 cards plus cash within the cash strap here. I also love that when I put it in my pocket, it doesn't bulge at all, it's super slim. And it's got RFID blocking technology, so no one can take money out of any of my cards. Now, of course, I've got a discount for you guys. All you need to do is go to theridge.com/RBR, use the code RBR. You'll get 10% off one of these awesome carbon wallets. Help support the channel as well, and you'll have something super stylish and something that matches lovely motorsport cars. So go to ridge.com/RBR. There's one thing I love as a petrol head. It's two-door Grand Touring muscular coupes. I've got a history of owning them myself. I love reviewing them. You guys love watching them. And the Batur coupe is honestly one of the most gorgeous ones that I've ever seen. Now, this was coach built from scratch by Mulliner. Mulliner recently done this after a long stretch of not doing any coach building with the Bacalar, which this car is, kind of the next iteration of, but a lot more important than Bacalar because, like I said, linking to the future. But Mulliner, they're the oldest coach builders in the world. 250 years they've been doing this. I mean, it's like before cars, right? So crazy. They did stuff like WO's famous 8 Litre as well, the incredible and legendary R-Type Continental that I've showed you on the channel as well. That all leads back today to this Batur coupe. And like I said, it's previewing the future. This was designed, it's actually the first totally fresh design by their head of design, who's Andreas Mint, and he's really excited about this car, and you can see why. It really takes a lot of that familiar Bentley DNA and brings it forward, I think, into something that's very recognizable as Bentley, and not something that's looking too zany in terms of a concept car or anything, but really geared for muscularity and for the future. This whole stance that you see here, they call the resting beast stance, almost like a tiger about to prance on its prey. And I think it really works, particularly the muscularity, the grille, etc. All of that really making the car look fast, even though it's standing still. So very impressive looking. If we compare it directly to Bacalar, I think Bacalar is a bit softer. It's a bit more, last gen Continental. Bigger lights, not as aggressive, still beautiful, undoubtedly, but I think the Batur really brings the aggression, and I'll show you some of that when we go around it. Then again, we look at the Continental, even the speed, which we love so much, right? And this just looks that much more aggressive, right? And if this is the future route that they're taking, then we're going to be very happy with hybrid and battery electric vehicles that look like this beast. So why don't we take a closer look around it from my perspective and really get an idea of what makes this design special. So guys, this is the first angle that I saw it from. It's my favorite angle for any car, which is why I always set the reviews up this way. But look at that stance. Bentley call it the resting beast stance, like an animal that's about to prance. And I totally get that. For me more though, I think it's that DNA, the strong DNA of a Bentley Grand Touring Coupe, where most of the car is sitting on its rear axle, really giving it, you know, that kind of muscularity. That's what you want, isn't it, when you're buying a really aggressive Bentley coupe? Then the other first impression you get is the front, so sculpted, you know, the grille, typical Bentley, but modernized. It's bigger, it's flatter, it's kind of more upright, as you can see there. Headlights still similar, you know, big and bold on each side like every Bentley throughout history. However, slimmer, a bit more like Bacalar, a bit more futuristic. Again, this is not a concept car. This is a car that's going to be delivered to 18 very lucky customers. So all of this, you know, very possible to come on the future battery electric vehicles as well, which is quite heartening. Now, a bit more detail on some of the design bits. We've got something that they call an endless bonnet here, which is this very strong line that you see in the middle of our bonnet, which looks really, again, quite muscular. Muscularity is something you're going to see me repeat again and again with this car. Again, you see it from this angle going into the recesses there at the end of the bonnet. It's not something you see often in Grand Touring coupes. It's very impressive. My favorite bit has to be this line that carries through our bonnet all the way underneath our window line and our greenhouse here. That is gorgeous. And you'll see the upper window trim also finished here in that lovely paint finish. This is Bonneville pearlescent silver. It's a really interesting paint finish because you'll kind of get like gold and blue and white and, you know, silver tones. It's really strange, but quite a wonderful paint finish. Get closer on the grille here. Lots of orange details, and you'll see a lot of that actually inside when we go in the interior, but just on the grille there, highlighting the little design areas within here, I think works really quite effectively. That lower splitter, very familiar Bentley as well. So strong DNA, but clearly, you know, coming into the future. Now let's go along the side. Now, if you do the squint test, that is absolutely a Bentley coupe, isn't it? Regardless of any of the design bits. This you'll see very recognizable as, you know, something you'll see inside a Continental, etc. The wheels, typically Bentley, massive, finished in a really nice darkened grey and silver there. And then, like I said, the greenhouse, I love the way it connects to our bonnet. Very, very smart. Now the rear is an interesting one. I haven't shown you this yet. This is really, really quite different for Bentley. I mean, in a big, big way. It almost looks kind of concept car-like, that rear end. Let's get a bit closer to it, and you can see what I mean. I mean, this is not something that you would have seen on, you know, like any of the recent Continentals or any of their cars. You've got really slim tail lights. Look at that. This is not a concept car. Again, this is a car that's being delivered to people. A really muscular kind of rear, the rear shoulders there, very muscular. You see the fuel cap sitting there right on the top. Got your active rear spoiler as well there. And then a really, really big area for your diffuser, which is split up nicely to bring a bit of contrast with that dark grey. You've got the Akrapovic titanium finishes there, looking great. This is very different. And this really signals to you how, you know, a future Bentley GT is going to end up looking like. Different, familiar, very aggressive. Now, like I said, the interior also very special. And I'll give you that preview in a minute, but just first impressions as you open the door, as you would expect, very, very special indeed. Lots of details to show you in here, including use of some gold and some interesting materials, and some patterns to do with the W12, and I'll show you all of that in a minute. Now let's talk about the performance and what lies under the skin. The famous W12 engine that has powered the success of Bentley is now coming to its end as we reach Bentley 100 and we bring in now the battery electric vehicles and the hybrids, etc. So this is one of the last times that you'll ever see this engine used, and it's in its most powerful form. This is the most powerful Bentley that they've ever done. 740 PS, 1,000 Newton meters. That builds upon what already felt like crazy speeds in the Conti Speed, which had 650 brake horsepower and 900 Newton meters. How have they achieved this? Well, they've actually done some tinkering with the engine. We've got bigger turbos, we've got a new intake system, new software, etc., to bring out that extra power. So the lucky customers who get this are really going to enjoy what is pretty much the prime example of that famous W12. Now, in terms of chassis, it's all going to be very familiar to you if you know about the Conti Speed, because a lot is borrowed from that car. For example, we have the air suspension with adaptive damping in here. We've got the 48-volt anti-roll control system here with 1,300 Newton meters in 0.3 seconds, to stabilize the car. We've got the ELSD in the rear. We've got rear wheel, four-wheel steering as well, up to 4.1 degrees. So all of that very familiar from what we found in the Speed. All of that power also leads then to the familiar 8-speed transmission as well. And then we've got a titanium exhaust system throughout with, for the first time, titanium 3D printed finishes as well. And all of this has been done by a Krapovich. So a hell of a system, all linking to a pretty legendary engine now. Now, this is a special car for anyone who's going to end up owning it. But for me, the thing that excites me about this is the future and the battery electric vehicles. Imagine owning an EV that looks like this. How incredible will that be? My biggest gripe with the multitude of EVs that are made these days is that they all look like Buzz Lightyear's bloody spaceship, right? Whereas this, imagine an EV that looked, almost 90% like this. Probably with tech shared from our group, I can imagine stuff that you see in Taycan or e-tron coming into this with electric motors on the front and the rear, big battery, all-wheel drive, torque vectoring, etc., etc. Crazy power, undoubtedly probably 800 brake horsepower, loads of torque. That could be an incredible Grand Tourer, and really linking nicely to W.O. Bentley's original idea of a super fast but super quiet car. That could be very special indeed. Now, talking of very special, we have to also look at the interior, which is actually pretty damn gorgeous as well. Let's jump in and have a look at that. So guys, here's the interior. You can see matching the little orange details we had on the outside, following on the inside as well. There's a lot of orange, a lot of red, a lot of nice little details that I really want to show you guys here. But I want to do that from my perspective. Before I do that, just a general talk about the structure of the interior. Much like the Bacalar was a two-seat convertible, this is also a two-seat only coupe. I didn't mention that earlier, just thought I'd reiterate that element. So very much different in that sense to Conti, etc. This is a pure two-seater car, as you can see with that. Now, if you have seen the Bacalar coupe, much of what we find here in the Batur is similar in terms of this unique center console structure with the vents that are different to what you find in the Continental. We've still got the swiveling display, as you see there, but there are some details that are unique to this car. Some of the coolest things that I found was the use, for example, of 18 karat gold, like on the 12 o'clock marker on this unique steering wheel. And it is unique. You can see this bottom part of the spoke, which is also finished in that orange theme as we've got in the rest of the car. That's very nice. So you find gold there. You also find it on your Bentley gear selector here, which is quite interesting. Look at that. You can see it says Bentley Batur, coach built by Mulliner, written here, which is quite cool. And again, that is finished in gold surrounding our engine start-stop button. Then you've got a lovely gear selector here, again with the orange leather. Lots of orange leather around this interior. The other bit I absolutely loved was this. So this is the sound wave of the W12 engine, which has then been etched into here as a design, which I thought was such a nice idea next to the Batur logo, because all this car is about is that W12, one of the last iterations of it. So love that. Love the door cards as well. Really nicely designed. The end part of this trim, I don't know if you can see it here, I'll show you in some B-roll. It kind of fades into a lighter kind of, seems to me almost like a gold glitter. It's really nicely done. It's subtle, but it brings some nice aesthetic to the inside of the car. Door cards, as I said, lovely, really nice shape. Unique to Batur versus the Bacalar. You see these lovely shapes behind our door handle here. And those shapes will continue onto the seat. And these are what they call Batur chevrons. So that is like a Batur shape, I guess, that they're running with. You see the model logo name in the middle there, Bentley on the headrest. Looks very nice. As I open the door up here, you'll see as you come in, you've got the Batur logo, the Mulliner. You've even got a light that has the Batur logo on it. I like the speaker grille here with the Bentley logo and some interesting use of materials across the car. So yeah, you can configure this any way you want. Bentley have gone with the red dynamic here, the orange leather, etc. But essentially customers have an infinite choice on what they can do on the interior. But yeah, those are some of the bits that I love about the interior of this Batur. So guys, that's the new Batur Coupe. I'm really excited to see how this translates into what could be the best looking two-door EV out there. I can't wait to see that in the future. If you've enjoyed this episode of RBR, as always, please do like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.